Okay, hello guys, we're gonna be reacting to scary TikTok videos on this account. So, let's do it. Go to YouTube. We're gonna be reacting to his story on this account. This is my sister and my baby brother's account, but I'm just sneaking to his account. So please don't tell my sister, my baby brother. Please don't tell them. Let's get right into it. His story. I just put it. Let's go show his story. Okay.
I watched Spider-Man for the first time and was convinced I could climb walls. I ran past my cat and straight to my pet spider's tank and stuck my hand in it waiting for it to bite me. I was convinced it bit me and smiled because that's exactly what I needed. I begged my mom to buy me a Spider-Man suit, so I went into my closet and put it on. I pressed my hands flat against my bedroom wall. It didn't stick, but I wasn't worried. I was positive my powers were going to kick in soon. I waited a minute, then I opened my bedroom window and climbed out onto the roof. My hands gripped the shingles and I gasped. They were sticking. My powers kicked in. I started crawling across the roof on all fours like Spider-Man. But then I heard meowing from the tree next to my house. It was my cat. She was stuck on one of the highest branches.
Look, I have blood in there. That's my blood.
This was my first mission. I jumped from the roof onto the tree and started climbing. Branch by branch, I got higher. The cat was right there, so I grabbed it with one arm. I felt like a hero. Then I heard my mom scream from below. "What are you doing in that tree?" I yelled back. "Mom, my spider bit me. I'm Spider-Man now." My mom shook her head. "Get down before you hurt yourself." But when I looked down, I felt pee come out. I was way higher than I thought, and if I fell, I would take serious damage. I tried to climb down, but realized I couldn't climb down and hold the cat at the same time. Then a branch under my foot cracked. I hugged the tree with one arm and the cat with the other. The branch snapped. I hit every branch on the way down and landed directly on my left arm. I heard it crack and it bent the wrong way. I was screaming and crying in my Spider-Man suit, but the cat landed on my chest without a scratch and she started purring on me. Mission complete. I was Spider-Man. When I came back from the hospital, my mom told me she released my pet spider in the wild. She pointed at my suit in the closet. I'm returning that suit too. Turns out I wasn't Spider-Man. I just had a really strong grip. I watched Spider-Man for the first time.
No, he's Spider-Man.
My little brother creeped toward my bedroom carrying a live hornet's nest while wearing a full hazmat suit. I gasped because I knew he was trying to get revenge on me for yanking out his PS5 right before he got his first ever victory royale. But this was way too far, and I needed to stop him before he tried to murder me with hornets. I tiptoed after him, and he slipped inside, slid my closet door wide open, and set the nest on the shelf with a huge grin on his face. He stepped back and let out this muffled villain giggle behind the visor, like thinking about murdering made him the happiest man in the world. I walked up and put one hand on my bedroom door, and he froze like a deer in headlights. I shut the door on him and his nest and held down on the handle so he couldn't escape. He pounded on the door. "Let me out! The suit won't protect me forever." I leaned in close. "I'll let you out if you agree that the prank war is over, and carry that nest back to its tree where it came from." The buzzing got louder, and when I looked through the peephole, I saw a hornet land right on his visor, and his eyes went huge behind the plastic. "Okay, Truce, the war's over. Let me out. Let me out." I breathed a sigh of relief and levered down the handle, and he stumbled out and immediately shut the door behind him with his rubber glove still on. He held out his arm. "Dude, come here and shake my hand." I walked towards him, and he stepped on my laces and tripped me up. I had my fingers crossed. War ain't over. I instantly put my hand on the handle and locked eyes with him. So were mine. I quickly pushed him back into the room and shut the door, just as the nest rolled off the shelf and split open on the floor. The last thing I saw was one hornet landing on his zipper and pulling it down. My little brother creeped toward my bedroom carrying a live hornet's nest while wearing a full hazmat. I was in a mall parking garage listening to music in my car.
Good story, by the way.
While on the train, the toddler sitting next to me started screaming and throwing his fists in the air, but his mom was glued to her phone and ignored him completely. Another passenger told her to control her kid, but she replied, "I know how to handle my own child," without even looking up from her phone. Her toddler punched the windows and cried louder, and that's when she leaned over and snatched my phone from my hands. She gave it to her kid and told me, 2 minutes, he's having a meltdown. The kid stopped screaming and instead started smearing his chocolate fingers all over my phone screen. The mom smiled at the passenger from earlier and smirked, saying, "See, told you I know how to control my child." But her child was jabbing my phone with Cheeto dust fingers and trying to bend it in half while she just peacefully scrolled hers. I reached over and yanked my phone back from her kid, then moved further away from her. The toddler instantly screamed again and hit his seat repeatedly. She demanded I give him my phone back, but I just laughed. That's when her kid turned to her and reached for her phone instead. She tried to give him snacks and toys to distract him, but he threw them on the floor and hit her shoulder, screaming he wants her phone. Her face went red and she reluctantly gave it over, and he immediately started smearing chocolate and Cheeto dust all over her screen and into her charging port. He was calm for about a minute until the phone suddenly died. He threw it at the floor hard as he could, and it smashed into pieces. He screamed again and grabbed his mom's jacket, and I just put in my earbuds. The other passenger looked at her and said, "So, you sure you know how to control your child?" She stared at her broken phone, and her child screaming around her and just started crying. While on the train, the toddler sitting next to me started screaming and throwing his fists in the air.
What is this channel?
While on the train, the toddler sitting next to me started screaming and throwing his fists in the air. I went for a jump shot during recess, and the new kid Caleb punched me in the face while I was in the air. I fell on the ground hard and hit my head, but he simply grabbed the ball. No blood, no foul. Then ran down the other end and scored. I got up clutching my head, but next time I grabbed the ball, he shoulder tackled me like this was football. Where I'm from, this is soft. He stood over me. I looked around and saw everyone scared of him because he was buff and had at least 5 inches on everyone. The next day during recess, Caleb tripped the smallest kid on the court. I clenched my fists, but knew there was nothing I could do. My friends cleared out, no longer wanting to play with him, and that's when Caleb's eyes locked onto me and you, one-on-one. He threw the ball at my chest. The first play, Caleb pushed me into a metal pole, and my nose started bleeding. But the next time I got the ball, I threw up a shot. He shoved me to the floor, but the ball was already in the air. It swished, and everyone cheered. I grinned from the floor, and one bitch, but suddenly Caleb clenched his teeth. My heart sank as he raised his shoe, and he stomped on my arm hard before I could move it. I screamed in pain as it was bent the wrong way, while Caleb laughed, "Where's your N1 now?" I spent a week in the hospital with a broken arm, and when I came back with my arm in a cast, Caleb had again forced everyone to play. I watched him tackle another kid and had enough. I stepped onto the court. Caleb smirked. "You want your other arm broken? Remember, no blood, no foul." But I just nodded because I had a plan. The first time Caleb caught the ball and drove to the rim, I waited until he was in the air. Then I instantly got under him and bent over. Caleb's eyes widened in horror as he realized what I was doing, and his knees hit my hip, sending him flying over me. He landed face first on the concrete he'd shoved me and started groaning in pain. 3 of his teeth were scattered around him as red pooled under his face. I knelt down. No blood, no foul, Caleb. He came back to school 4 weeks later, but when I took a shot, he tried to defend normally. We still let him play, but he never tried to injure anyone again. I went for a jump shot during recess, and the new kid Caleb punched me in the face while I was in the air. I fell on the ground hard and hit my head, but he simply grabbed the ball. No blood, no foul. Then ran down the other end and scored. I got up clutching my head, but next time I grabbed the ball, he shoulder tackled me like this was football. Where I'm from, this is soft. He stood over me. I looked around and saw everyone scared of him because he was buff and had at least 5 inches on everyone. The next day during recess, Caleb tripped the smallest kid on the court. I clenched my fists, but knew there was nothing I could do. My friends cleared out, no longer wanting to play with him, and that's when Caleb's eyes locked onto me and you, one-on-one. He threw the ball at my chest. The first play, Caleb pushed me into a metal pole, and my nose started bleeding. But the next time I got the ball, I threw up a shot. He shoved me to the floor, but the ball was already in the air. It swished, and everyone cheered. I grinned from the floor, and one bitch. But suddenly Caleb clenched his teeth. My heart sank as he raised his shoe, and he stomped on my arm hard before I could move it. I screamed in pain as it was bent the wrong way, while Caleb laughed. Where's your N1 now? I spent a week in the hospital with a broken arm, and when I came back with my arm in a cast, Caleb had again forced everyone to play. I watched him tackle another kid and had enough. I stepped onto the court. Caleb smirked. You want your other arm broken? Remember, no blood, no foul. But I just nodded because I had a plan. The first time Caleb caught the ball and drove to the rim, I waited until he was in the air. Then I instantly got under him and bent over. Caleb's eyes widened in horror as he realized what I was doing, and his knees hit my hip, sending him flying over me. He landed face first on the concrete he'd shoved me and started groaning in pain. Three of his teeth were scattered around him as red pooled under his face. I knelt down. No blood, no foul, Caleb. He came back to school 4 weeks later, but when I took a shot, he tried to defend normally. We still let him play, but he never tried to injure anyone again.
Okay. But I don't like it. I want to watch his videos now.
Happy birthday, darling. Blow out your candles and make a wish. My wife Claire and my 12-year-old daughter Angie stared at me, waiting. I looked down at my cake and the burning candle and thought, I've never been happier, but something's different about Claire lately. I made my wish. Please let me find peace in our new home on this beautiful island. Claire stared at her phone, distracted. I got annoyed. Hey, are you with me? Yeah, sorry. I know it's my birthday and all, but what's up with you? What do you mean? The last few weeks you've been acting kind of strange. She casually brushed that off. I don't feel any different. She took out her diving knife from her holster and started cutting the cake. Angie awkwardly watched both of us. I decided to let it go for now. Okay, who wants cake? The next morning, Angie and I went swimming. I was going for a new personal record to see how long I could hold my breath. I loved the quiet of being underwater, although I had to be careful that I didn't touch any of that poisonous coral. My lungs were burning. Time to swim up. Great job, Dad. You made it to 10 minutes and 32 seconds. We were walking home when we heard the loud rumble of an engine from above. We walked up to a few trees that looked out over a small valley and saw a diesel engine airplane landing on the island. Daddy, I thought we were the only ones that lived here. We are, darling. They're probably just visiting. Let's get a closer look. We walked down the ridge, hid behind some trees, and watched 3 men in military fatigues get out of the plane and open the back cargo gate. Then 3 speedboats pulled up on the shore, and 6 men with rifles stepped off the boats and greeted the flight crew. What are they doing, Daddy? I have no idea, but it's probably not anything good, darling. They started unloading wooden crates from the back of the plane onto the speedboats. Then, a tall, dark-haired man stepped out from the back of the plane and was scanning the area with binoculars. Get down! I ducked down with my daughter as fast as I could, then glanced up through some tree branches and saw the man locked on us through his binoculars. I took her by the hand and rushed away. I got home and told Claire what happened. So you think the guy spotted you? Yeah, I think so. And we're the only house on this island, so I won't be surprised if they come knocking. She stayed eerily still and seemed totally unfazed. Did you hear what I said? Yeah, I got nervous because I could tell she was hiding something. What's up with you? She crossed her arms. Nothing. It's just I had a weird phone call with my sister, that's all. What do you mean weird? She's just been acting kind of strange and distant lately. And every time I ask her what's up, she makes up some excuse before I could say another word. Knock. My back straightened up. Take Angie into the other room. Don't come out. And if something bad happens, run out of the back and hop in our boat and get to Nassau. I wouldn't leave you. If you need to save Angie, you better. Claire took Angie into the other room, and I peeked through the window blinds and saw the tall man that spotted us and 2 men with rifles standing behind him. I panicked. A million thoughts rolled through my mind. I figured that it was better to answer the door and see if there was a way to talk this out, instead of not answering and risking having him bust the door down. I opened it up, and the man smiled, flashing yellow, crooked teeth. Hello, my friend. How are you on this fine morning? All right. How about you? I am wonderful. Thank you for asking. My name is Salvatore. Who do I have the pleasure of speaking with? My name's Cal. I figured I might as well tell him the truth. Do you mind if I come inside and we have a little chat? My heart pounded. I had to come up with an excuse that didn't offend him. Actually, my daughter's not feeling very well. So if you don't mind, let's just chat here. He studied me, trying to detect a lie. I understand. I'll get to the point. Did you happen to see what my friends and I were unloading? I did not. He glared at me, not believing a word. Now that's not very very nice. We are new friends, and you lied to me this soon in our relationship. I'm not lying to you. I saw you guys moving some wooden crates, but I didn't see what was inside them. Okay, I believe you. What do you do for a living? I'm a marine biologist. You study fish? I nodded. Started getting impatient because I had no idea where this was going. Do you have any friends at the police department or the DEA by any chance? I don't. He pulled out a few $100 in cash, just in case you feel the urge to call the authorities. Let this little gift of, let's say, 10 grand help you decide not to. He offered me 10 grand in cash. I knew that if I took it, I would be in debt to what seemed like a serious drug cartel. I can't take that from you, and you don't have to worry. I don't plan on telling anyone anything. He held out the cash, not taking no for an answer. Take the money. I gritted my teeth, had to stay strong. I appreciate the offering, but I really don't need it. He stepped closer to me. I don't think you understand how this works.
Okay, I have to interview those supply. Hold on.